welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be carrying on from the back signal, and today we're going to be making the actual back man. So I've taken everything out of the bags already, as you can see, just to make things a bit quicker because this could take a while, this video. I've got all the instructions in the book here, what I'll be going through slowly, so might as well make a start, I suppose. So I'm going to go straight to, what is it, number 1. Okay, so straight away the first thing we need is, so all these are numbered A, B, C, D. So what we need a B, which is this one, and a D. So I've got B40 and B24, which is these two, and then this little one's D5, and we just got to put them together. So this little ball joint thing here goes in. So all you've got to do is get them together like that and then push it in. There you go. So that's in. So that's the first bit done. Okay, next you've got to get D31, which is this little bit here, and get the piece you just put together and just slide it into that bit there. So that goes in like that. Next goes B37, B38. And what you want to put it together this like that. So you want to make sure the two flat ends are together, because over this side are both curved slightly on the other side. So when you put it together, you just want to make sure you go the flat, so the flat bit goes against the flat bit, sort of thing, like that. So you've got two flat bits there, and then the little slightly curved bits on that side. Okay. There's A13 and A12 there, and what we got to do, we get the bit we just done just a second ago, and we've got to pop these two bits on the end there. Okay, so that's one in, so that's it there. They're actually quite hard, you have to give it a good pop, push in sort of thing, because it feels like it doesn't want to go at first. Same with this one, that way around, isn't it? So you just got to give it a real, there you go, it's in. So it should look like that. Okay, next we got A10 and A11, and the piece we've just done here has to go into the middle of it. I'm not sure how I can do this on camera, so I'm not going to do it on camera. So yeah, this it just all pops together once you've got it in. You just got to kind of manoeuvre it a bit into the right position. So that's that done. Hopefully you can see that. It's not rocket science anyway, you kind of just want to make sure it's all pushed in properly. Okay, next we need A25 and A26, which are these two parts here. And all we've got to do with this one is push them together, which is, I mean, so obvious it's unbelievable. There you go, so then so it's his back sign for his chest, basically. Okay, next we get the chest bit, and we get the rest of the body, what we've done just a little while ago, and you just got to push them on together again. Just make sure you get it home, sort of thing. So now we've got his upper chest, his chest area done. Okay, next we've got to get this A24 and get the piece, the upper chest, what we've been working on, and just stick it over to his shoulder sort of area and push down. Nice and easy. So now we've got that. It's getting there slowly, isn't it? By the way, I am using a X-Acto knife just to clean up any kind of edges, you know, when you take it off the scaffold, just to get any bits off. Just so it does go together nicely. Okay, next we need this A20 and A21. I've only got A20 there, but they're both the same. I've only got one because I want to make sure I put it on the right side so I don't get confused. So that's A20, goes on his, will go on the back of him, on his left side, So you see there's 3 holes there. Go into the 3 holes there, sort of thing. There you go. Okay, A21, so that was A20, A21, oh, nearly dropped it. There you go. So that's on his back. Okay, next we've got to get his cape, and you see there's two little holes up near his shoulder. So you just got to get the cape, which is wide by the way, which is quite nice, and there's little kind of square bits on the end. So you just got to slot the square bits into the square holes. Just like that sort of thing. There you go. Okay, putting this bit aside now with the cape. A1, A6 and that's A22. And we need to put them together. So it needs to go together like that sort of thing. I haven't pushed it together yet, but I just want to show you just one path goes, A1 and A6 go one side and this thing goes in the middle. A26 goes in the middle. And then you just got to push it all together. So that's some kind of hinge that is, because it should move very slightly. Okay, so basically we're doing the same thing again, but this time it's of A2, A7 and A23. And again we've got to basically do exactly the same thing as we just did on that one. Okay, you can see I've closed them up. Well, I haven't closed them up, I mean I've got them together. So I'm going to push them together and they've gone tight now. And again this hinge should move a little bit. It's tight but it should move. Next we've got to get A5 and A18, and that way up we're going to just drop them into these three holes here, not that bottom hole, the middle hole, single middle hole and the two middle holes there underneath it. So you see them pins there? Go into this like that. Again, doing it on camera is annoying because the camera's right in the way, but there you go, in nice and easy. So that should go in like that. Okay, next the piece we just put in there. Now we've got to get these bits we just made, these joint bits, the bits what move slightly. So basically you've got to put these in like that. So that goes in there like that. Okay, next you get A19, which is the front body bit, I think. Whatever bit that is. This bit here. And we're just going to fit it to the piece we'd already got. You have to kind of line up the holes first though. So there's the joint there, what moves left and right sort of thing, and this one does the same here. Oh, it goes that way as well, look. Does that one? Yeah, it does. So there's that. Okay, next you've got to get A16 and A17 and get the body piece or whatever, I guess is, yeah, the lower body, stomach. And A16 goes on the left side. And you just push that in nice and easy. And A17 goes on the opposite side, on the right side. Of the body, that is. Right side there, left side, that side of the body, not as you look at it. Like that. Okay, next we're going to get his head and his mouthpiece, which is there and there. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there it is. And put his mouthpiece by where his mouth's supposed to go. Oh, nearly dropped that. Bloody hell. Fingers and thumbs this is, I tell you sometimes. You could have got a choice of using his other head, but I don't want to do that. Okay, so after that, the pieces we've got so far, we've got his neck piece, which we've done first. Then we've got his upper chest with his back cape on. We've got his head, and we've got his like torso. We've got to put all that together. So, which way does that neck go? Around goes that way. Where's the pattern? So if you look for the pattern on the neck, you can see that kind of round bit there with an Adam's apple almost. So that goes on his neck like that, in nicely. Obviously his chest we'll push in there like that. That's in nice. And we'll pop his head on. Did that go on? Oh, it went on, didn't even pop. Okay, so this is upper bit done. Okay, now moving on to his arms. We need, the first piece is A14, which is that there. And B34, which is this little piece here. Okay, so what we've got to do with these two parts is just put it through that little hole there. There's only one hole it really goes in, so it's sort of obvious. Just make sure it's nice and tight, and that's some kind of hinge for the arm by the looks of it. You see that move like that? So it goes in not that way, but that way. If you can see that, I don't know. Okay, next we get B4 and B10, which are these two parts. And we get our other bit we just done. And we just got to put them through the, like that, and put that on that side. So you see, so it clips in like that. There's only one way it will go properly anyway, so it looks like that. Okay, next we've got to get B18, B21, B27 and B30. So these four parts, and put them together. Okay, so they kind of go together like that, look. So they go together like this, and then you just got to put the top bit on. So you push these two bits on the hole, one. I hope you can see that okay. So once it's on, you should have a piece like this, which moves. So you've got another hinge sort of area on both sides. Okay, next we got to get, so we need these two parts next, B2 and B9, and we get the other two pieces we've already put together slightly, and we've got to join them together. So I'm just going to do that now. So this bit goes up the top, it's showing. Okay, so we get all our bits what we've just put together, and we put the bottom bit in there like that. This top bit goes in that way, innit? Let me just make sure on the map. So the top bit goes in there like that, and then all we've got to do is put the other bit of the arm over it. There you go, just like that. So you should have that. So this should move, and this top bit should move a bit, and so should that there. Next we get B31, which is this piece here, and we got to connect it to the arm. You see the hole, there's a hole and a square, and there's a hole and a square on that bit. Just stick it in. Okay, next we get B5 and B6, and we just got to join them together. Again, it only goes one way, I think. There you go, they're together. So you got that. Okay, now we get B13 and B15, which is the forearm by the looks of it. And we've got to connect it to the arm we've already, the upper arm, and that for the wrist for the hand to go into, I think. Okay, so the first part goes on like that, so you can see what angle we got. So we've got the ball peg, the ball joint this side, and that ball joint for the wrists just sits in there. So that just sits in there like that. And I'm just going to squeeze it together. Okay, that's pretty much the arm done then. So now you can see the articulation sort of thing. Okay, next we get this little one, B1, and that goes on his back of his arm, back of his forearm. So you can see there's a little square for it to pop into. There you go, that's in. Okay, next we've got to get B11 and B23, so that's B11 and B23. And we've got to connect that to the top of his arm. So B11, is it B11? Yeah, B11 goes on there, it clips in into those two little pins, so it just holds right there sort of thing. And then this one just goes over the top of it. See there's two holes there and a hole down there. See them two holes at the top and one at the bottom, and all that does, there's two pins at the top and one at the bottom for it to go in. So that's in. There you go, hear that clicking? So you should have that. Okay, now it's just telling us to put a hand on, a fist it's saying for some reason, but I guess you can put whatever hand you want on, and that just pushes on to his part there, just onto that, which obviously it's interchangeable anyway, so yeah, that's his fist on. So that's one arm pretty much done, I should think. Yeah, that's one arm done. Now we've got to repeat the process again on the other arm. Okay, moving on to the second arm. So we got to get A15 and B33, and I've just stuck them together like that. They only go one way, so it's not hard to do. So that bit there, so it just goes on like that. Okay, now we're going to get B4 and B10, these two bits, and we're going to get the piece we just made and put it in the middle of that. So that's got to go into the middle and then clamp together. So basically that side goes in like that. And then you just close together with this side. Like so. Okay, so now we move on to the next part. So we need B19 and B20, which are these two bits here, B19, B20. And B28, B29, which are almost identical but not quite. So B28 and B29 now. B28, B29. Okay, so B19 and B20 go inside B29 like that. If you can see that. And then you get B28 and just put it on top, cover it over like that, and just push it in. There you go. So that's that part done. Okay, so now we're going to get this B3 and B8, B3, B8, and we've got to connect these bits inside it, sort of thing. So they kind of go like that, and these two clamp down on it. They clamp together and hold everything together. So I'm going to go away and put that together now. Okay, so I'll put most of it together, look, like that. So that's the way it goes. And all I've got to do is clip that onto the end now. That way, I think. So I'm going to do that on camera. If I can get them lined up. So it should just push in nice and easily. There you go. So that's the upper part of the arm again. There's a little bit of articulation in both sides. Okay, next we're going to get B32, which is this bit here, and put it onto the upper arm what we just made. So there's a square and there's a pinhole, and all you've got to do is put the hole in the right way, put it in the right way. Simples. Okay, now we're going to get these two parts, B5 and B6, and join them together the same way as we did the other arm. So that should be like that when you've done it. Okay, so now we've got to get B14 and B16, which are these two bits, which are the forearm. And we've got to get this bit we just done there for the hand. And we've got to get the arm and join them all together. Okay, so the arm goes on like that, look. It can only go one way again. If you're struggling, you're putting it on wrong. So there's the bit for the hand that's gone in as well. So just check for articulation. If it's all moving like that, you should be good. Okay, now we get B7, which is this bit here, and put it on the back of the forearm again, just like that. Okay, now we got to get B12 and B22, which are these two parts here, and they're going to go on the shoulders here, onto this clippy bit. Okay, that's the shoulder pad bit on there. So like I say, it all just clips together really easily. Well, actually it takes a bit of pressure to get on. You've got to be a bit careful with that, but it does go on. So next I'm going to put his fist on, and that'll be his arm done then. I'm just going to do that quickly now, because it takes a few seconds, doesn't it? So here's his fist. There you go, that's his fist on. So that's the second arm done. Okay, so to start the legs off, we've got to have C22 and C23, which are these two parts here. C22 and C23. And we need B35 and B36. B35, B36, and then them two join together. So what we've got to do, we've got to put these two together, like so, like that. And then we've got to use these two to clamp them together, use these two bits to clamp together, which I can't do on camera because it's too fucking awkward. Okay, so that's it all joined together now. So it should look something like that. Well, it should look exactly like that, I think. I'll turn it around so you can see it. Okay, so you get D20 and the piece we've already worked on, and you want to slide it in so it fits in perfect. So there's a square hole. Let me just take it back out. So there's a square hole and a round hole, and there's a square bit on that bit there, and a round, and you just put them in together like that, so they fit nicely snug in there. And then get this D21. Oh fucking hell! I can't stop dropping things. And then just get B21, and again there's a round hole and a square hole there, what goes into the pegs there. Like that. Just be a bit gentle because it feels a bit fragile actually. So it should look like that. Okay, next we're going to get D28 and D29, which is the belt, the kind of goldish belt. And we've got to put it around this part of his bottom half of his torso type thing. So you see this front bit, just like again, once things can only really go one way pretty much. So there's two pinholes what you've got to line up, and that bit in the, there you go, that's on. Okay, like that. Okay, these bits are small, so this is to there, D32 and D33, two little gold bits. And there you have it. The belt is all intact now, so they're on two sides. So the square bit goes on the left of his body, and the two round kind of tubes go on the right of his body. Okay, so we need these three bits here to start off with. So I'm going to get them cleaned up. Okay, that's the first bit together. Again, it only really goes in one way. Okay, so now we need C1, C4 and C11. C1, C4, C11. And we've got to put them together. So there you go, that's put together. Okay, so we need these two parts. C28 is that one, and C8 is this one. C28, C8. Just going to give them a quick clean up. Okay, with C8 and C28 we get the other two bits we've already done together, and we've got to clamp them all together. Okay, so the first bit goes in like that. So like I say, it's like a cross almost, what goes into this bit of the leg. And this ball bit can go into here like that. So that goes in there, just slides in. It's quite a tight fit, but it does go in, look. And then we should be able to just close the two up together, I think. There you go. Oh, there you go, I need to drop that. There you go. First part of the leg done. Now we need C9 and C14. So we get C9 and C14 there. Okay, C14 goes on this side. Just like that. And C9 goes on the opposite side. So these two parts here, C5 and C6, just need to join together like so. In there, sort of thing. There's only one way it can go again, pretty much. So that's like that, look. And now we need C18 and C25. Okay, so we've got to join. So basically we've got to do that. That goes in there, it sticks in, it can only go one way again. And that goes across there, and then we've got to put this one on top. And that's in. Okay, these three bits are next. C16, C19 and C27. Okay, C19 goes on the front of the leg, like so. C27 goes around the back of the leg, like that. And C16 goes on the shin, on the knees, sorry. Got a lot of articulation that leg, isn't there? Okay, the last bit is his feet then, so I've got to get D19 and D14, and we just got to put them together, close them up together, just like that. Now we've got to get D24 and D26. There you go. One shoe on. With articulation. Not a lot, but it's enough. Now all we've got to do is put the shoe on. Which just pushes in like that, and that's one leg done. There you have it, one leg. Okay, on to the second leg, and we've got to repeat the process again. It's getting a bit tedious now, to be honest. So here we go then. So we've got to get A4, A8 and B26. So to start off again on the next leg, we need these three parts here. Okay, just get these three bits in like that. Just squeeze it together. There you go, it's all put together. The next bit is C2, C12 and C3. Okay, for the next part we need these three parts here. C2, C3 and C12. Okay, so that goes like that, and then we just put that one over the top and clamp them together. Just like that. There you go. And that should be, yeah, there's a bit of articulation here. Look. Okay, next we need C7 and C21. Okay, so we've got to get all four bits now. So these two bits what we've put together already, and these two bits what I've just said, the C whatever it was, C7 and C21, and then we've got to put them all together. Okay, so you just clamp them all together like that, and they all go in, and then there's your articulation there, and that as well, that ball joint moves. On to number C13 and C10. So that goes on the side of the leg, that side. Again, they can only really go one way, so you can't really go wrong. And this one goes, there you go. So that's the top of the leg now done. Okay, so now I've got C24 and C17 there. Need to go together, but before we do that, we've got to join it to this part of the leg as well at the same time. And I've got to put this joint I've just made up as well. That's got to go as for the foot. So to make this, you need C5 and C6, and you just connect them together there at the joint. Simple enough, just like the last one. Yeah, so just like that. So I've just pushed that into that bit, pop that bit in there, and then just put this bit on top. Just like that. Okay, so next we need C26, C20 and C15. Okay, so these two bits here, so you've got the leg, and this bit here goes on the front, like that. This bit here goes on the back. And then we've got the knee pad again. There you go. Knee pads on. Right, now onto the foot again. So we need D25. Okay, we get these two bits of shoe then and put them together. I'm not even really following the guide anymore. So they go together like that. Then we got the toes of the shoe, and you just got to clip them in. Okay, there's the other shoe on anyway. So with the bend on it, right. So pop that on his foot. And that's it, just got to assemble the main character now, the actual arms and legs. That's the second arm in. So that's the legs on. Oh, I suppose you just got. There you go. Oh, so it just fell off. Oh, his belt just come off. Okay, there's Batman complete then. We have got other things to do though. So there's an alternative head to do next, I think. Okay, so for the first part of the head kind of swap, you need so B39, B17, D22. Okay, so the first part of the neck, you just clamp these two bits together, like I've just done there, and then this little bit should just pop in there. So D22 just pops in the front there. Okay, now you get his neck piece, which is called number 6. There it is, neck's on. And then all we've got to do is swap out the heads, but I'm not going to do that. Let's have a look at his face anyway. It's not too bad really. I might use that for something else, I don't know. All you got to do is pull his neck off and put that back on. I'm not going to bother doing it, like I say, it's so obvious. Okay then, I suppose, fucking hell, onto the guns. Right, this got to be quick. Let's have a look. D8, D4 and D1. Okay, to start is assembling the gun, you're first going to need these 3 parts here. So that's D8, that one there. D1, this little bit, that little bit there is D1. And D4 is the kind of frame of the gun, if you like. So all we've got to do now is pop the big bit on the top of the gun. Okay, there's that top bit on. This bit goes on the bottom. There's a bit on the bottom. That bit there. Okay, so That goes on that side like that. Just push them on. And do the same the other. Push it on. There you go. And that's your first gun done. Okay, so on to the next gun. So, we're going to need D12, D2 and D9. So that goes on the bottom like that. Just in that one hole there. Okay, and that back bit goes on there. D12 goes on the back of this bit here. But it's not very tight at the moment, you've got to get the other bit now. So now we need D10 and that's the other side to clamp it together. Okay, so we get the piece we've just been working on, get D10, this piece here, and you just got to put them together like that. Okay, and then once that's on, that's gun number 2 done. Okay, on to the last gun then. So it's D3 we need. So you need D30, which is that bit. D11, which is that bit. D3, which is that bit. D3 goes onto the back of D13. So this goes in there and you push it in. As usual, no glue for any of this, so that makes up the kind of grenades or whatever they are. And then D11 goes into the front of it. But before you put it in, you've got to put in this little, before you put that last bit on, you've got to put that on. That bit in the front. That's in the front. I'm just going to push it all together, hopefully. Yep, that's it, it's done. Okay, that's the last gun done. Okay, so that's it for this one then. All done. The Batman himself, he's a bit, I don't know, he's not great to be honest. I mean, the whole thing only cost 26 quid. Remember, it came with the bat signal. That's what I really wanted anyway. So I've got a much better Batman than this. So this guy, you know, it's kind of, it feels like it could break very easily, put it that way. You know, if you're a bit heavy-handed with it or anything. But, you know, it'll probably sit in the bat tumbler. I should imagine he fits in there, considering it's the same company who makes it. That's what I'm going to be doing, well, not next, but in a while. He actually comes with some bits here, I don't know what they're for, other than spare parts or something. I couldn't see where they went, unless I missed something and I didn't realise. And then he's got a pair of open palm hands and a pair of kind of holding hands. And then he's got his fist hands on him. Yeah, he comes with 2 of these bat signs. Anyway guys, that's it for this one I reckon. I don't think there's much else to do. Everything's put together. Laters.